Okay, class. So as you see here, I have gone to the Knightcite webpage, and you can access the link to this through our resources page. In our class, all of our citations are going to be in MLA format. You'll see that up here at the top under citation styles. And you can change this, APA, Chicago. So it depends on what kind of class you're taking, depends on which style you use. But for English 111, we're going to use MLA, the Modern Language Association format. The next thing you need to do is choose the type of source. And you're going to have to remember that Knightcite doesn't have all types of sources. So this is where you're going to need to go back to your Rules for Writers textbook. For the text that we're using for this class, Ellie Wiesel's speech, we will choose lecture or speech for our citation. Okay? Take a look at the different boxes, because what you put in these boxes makes the difference as to whether or not your citation comes out correctly. First off, we only have one author here. You'll type in his first name and his last name. Here, the title of the work. Sponsoring organization, who held the event or who is holding the event. The city in which it occurred. The date published. And what kind of presentation was it? When you look at all these, which one do you think it is? And where was the source found? Well, we found it online. You know that because you went to a link. So when we click on online, more boxes come up. And there's some more information that we'll need to include. So let's walk through and do it together. Starting with the author's first name. Make sure you spell it correctly and you capitalize it correctly, because Knightcite will not do that for you. Yep. And the title of the lecture. Notice that you don't have to put in quotation marks at this point. That's because Knightcite's going to do that for you. Your next question is probably going to be, who is the sponsoring organization? And first thing you'll do is go to the American Rhetoric website and go, I guess it's American Rhetoric. But actually, that's not correct. If we do a little bit of research, and all it takes is a bit of a Google search, we'll find out very quickly that this speech was given as part of a particular series, and it was sponsored by the White House. Yes, that White House. So, more than likely, we should probably give them credit, since the White House actually sponsored this series of speeches. The city, again, if you didn't pick it up here, right there, Washington, D.C., a little more research would told us very quickly the White House is in Washington, D.C., and this even gives a little summary of it here. Okay, that information is right here, along with the date that the speech was given. Okay, so we're going to come back over here, and we're going to write in Washington, D.C. Is the city well known? I would say that most people know where Washington, D.C. is, but I'm going to click this just to show you what happens. If it was somewhere, say Washington, North Carolina, a lot of people wouldn't be familiar with that. So that's why you would need to add the state. But just about everybody knows where Washington, D.C. is, so we don't have to have that in there. It was published in April. The year was 1999. And we'll flip back over here and check that date. It was on the 12th. Okay, so we're able to find that information. And we've already pointed out that our source is online. So where did we find it? We found it using a database. Well, actually we did. And the database that we used is, surprise, surprise, American Rhetoric. So that's where you're going to put that. Okay. But if you hadn't used the database, you'd hit no. Okay. And then the day we accessed it. We're going to pretend like I accessed it on September 1. Okay. And do I want to include the URL? In most cases, you do not have to include the URL. The URL is simply this right here, this information right here. Okay, and the reason why you don't have to include it is because it doesn't take very much to Google this information and find what you're looking for. However, if it was information that was really difficult to find, I would indeed include the URL just to make it a little easier on my reader. But in this case, this is not a difficult thing to find through a simple Google search, and I want to point that out. I also want to point out this right here. See how down here there's a notice that says that they're about to update to MLA 8. We are still using MLA 7 at the moment because our textbooks haven't updated to MLA 8. Don't stress that. Feel free to use this. And when the updates come, we will deal with that when we get there, okay? Did you notice that I missed something in here? It was something really small. And it's right here. Make sure that you type the entire title. Make sure you type the entire name, that you spell it correctly, because these are things that Knightcite can't help you with. And then if you hit submit, there it is. This is your citation. And then you just copy it, and then you can paste it into a Word document as part of your work. Now, you'll notice that the periods are in the right places, the information is formatted in the correct ways, and if we had something that needed to be italicized, it would be italicized, but it is not. The nice thing here is, if you need to go back and change something, like you forgot to put that the in there, you can go back and edit it, and here, start a new one. But let's say you wanted to save it. Well, you can create a free account with Knightcite right here. Just click on that link and follow the instructions. And Knightcite will actually save all the citations you create using the website, which is kind of neat, especially if you need to go back and do something. Finally, if you can't find the source listed on Knightcite, you may try using your Rules for Writers textbook. If you look on page 458, you'll find that documenting sources is a whole section in this book, and there are a lot of different ways that you can cite and a lot of different items you can cite. So sort through this and look for the numbers that'll tell you when there's new citations being presented, and see if you can find it there. As always, if you have trouble figuring out how to cite a source, please contact me via email so that I can help you.